we're gonna have some lunch. We're gonna have an hour and a half, depending on the time. And then we're gonna head towards Toledo, which is 1 hour from here, from Madrid. We're gonna have a visit there of a cathedral, a church, and a synagogue. And then we're gonna go back, and there's probably gonna be traffic because it's Sunday. We'll go back into the center of Madrid for dinner. We'll have dinner, and we're gonna call it a day because it's gonna be a long day again today. If we have time, we'll visit a sword factory. Now there's quite a few boys in the group. So you go, you see how they make them, and if you want, you can buy them. But I don't know if you are interested in buying swords. I don't know how many of you are fans of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we're crazy.
They make the sword of Game of Thrones. And the one from the Lord of the Rings. They make them all.
Where are we going, Tori?
To the place that kills people, things like me.
Like what?
Toros.
Exactly.
Your camera on video.
Oh my gosh, vlogception.
Say hello, cameras.
Hello, hello.
Hola, cameras.
We're now meeting. Toro always dies.
Toro always dies.
I'm sorry about
He's
that.
always just like waving it around. all the rats. It's like
No wonder I like red so much.
You're always bleeding to death.
I'm following the red flag.
That's a red flag.
Bullfight, and when we have special festivities they will have bullfights more often throughout the week, but the bull ring is also used for concerts, circus and exhibitions and things like that, so they use it for many different events, not only bullfighting, although it was built as a bullfight ring. You saw that, I mean, it's really a beautiful building. It's done in a style that was very popular beginning of the 20th century, and that we call neo-mudéjar. Neo, there's a lot of neo styles. I mean, that's I think that by the 20th century they ran out of ideas for new things, and they just went back into history and well, give different interpretations of old styles. So we have neo-Renaissance, neo-Baroque, neo-medieval. So it's just new interpretations but old styles. That one, mudéjar, is a word that is referring to the Muslim population that is staying in Christian territory, and it's got a lot of Moorish influence in it. Bricks, tiles in different colors, geometrical patterns, horseshoe arches, so all those characteristics are typical of this style that we can see. So bull ring Las Ventas is also the most important bull ring for bullfighters, so they really need to make a good job in here if they want to be considered professionals, or among the best at least, yes. Even though it's not the oldest one or it's not the biggest one, I mean, it is the most important for bullfighters in Spain. Good. Well, after the bordering of Las Ventas, which is located on the limits of what we consider Madrid. The motorway that you pass by runs completely the city, and on the other side of that motorway we have a huge extension of the city, but we consider that the metropolitan area. What is inside of the M30 is what we consider the city of Madrid, approximately, not in all the cases, but I mean approximately. And within that M30, we've got about 3,200,000 people living right now in Madrid, and 2 more million approximately on the outskirts. I mean, on the metropolitan area. That makes Madrid, I mean, one of the largest cities in Europe, with more than 5 million people living in it, with its metropolitan area. So if we talk about Occidental Europe, that that makes Madrid the 3rd largest city in Europe after London and Paris. You're going to see as we drive through the city that is a very modern city. Most of what you see was built and the areas were developed from the 20th century onwards. Even though Madrid is an old city, we know that the foundation of Madrid dates back to the 9th century, of course, just slightly over 1,000 years old, when any other city around us, Toledo, Avila, Segovia, Cuenca, Alcalá, any other city around us, at least is 2,000 years old, at least the double, because most of those cities were founded or in Roman times or even before Roman times with the Celtic or Celtic-Iberian tribes, okay? So Madrid was just a small stronghold that was built by the Emir of Cordoba when this territory belonged to the Emirate of Cordoba, so it was Muslim territory. And the reason for it, the reason for the construction of Madrid, for the foundation of Madrid, was just to someone's getting a ticket. The reason for it was just to protect Toledo. Toledo, the city we're going to visit this afternoon, was very important, very prestigious city in the Middle Ages, and Madrid was founded, along with other fortresses, it was not the only one, to protect Toledo. Those origins are very simple, and for a long time Madrid was a very small town until it became the capital in 1561 and then started to grow. Yes, and from that moment on, I mean, we have a more modern city and bigger city. We're just going to surround this square. There is a statue just there on the left representing the Marquis of Salamanca. This neighborhood, the second most expensive area in Madrid to live, was promoted, was founded by this man. It was full of these type of houses, the one you see over there with Abercrombie, that's an Abercrombie and Fitch shop here to the right. These type of villas. On the next corner on the left, another one. On the building on the right, big apartments with their gardens, like this beautiful building on the right. Each apartment would have 200, 300 square meters. That would be, I don't know in feet that, but it means 8 bedroom apartments, something like that, yeah. So huge apartments, beautiful villas. This was the normal type of construction that we would have in this neighborhood when it was inaugurated in the 19th century. The Marquis of Salamanca, who was a banker and also a politician, believed that the city needed a new neighborhood for the bourgeoisie, for the wealthy families. So these beautiful villas and houses and big apartments were built for them. Yeah, he was not very fortunate. Yeah, because I guess it was too early for that, and people didn't want to go so far away from what they considered the center of Madrid, and so he went bankrupt. Yeah, but right now it's very expensive to live in this neighborhood. It's, as I said, the second most expensive area to live in Madrid. And it's full of fancy shops. If you're planning to do a lot of shopping, well, today you're lucky, most of the shops will be closed. We'll just do some window shopping. Coming on the left, Valentino. Lavinia, a very famous wine shop in Madrid. Then you have on the corner Chanel, Dolce & Gabbana on the left, Brunello Cucinelli, Hermes on the left, La Perla, which is also a very famous shop, Bulgari for jewelry, Jimmy Choo, Armani.
I am dying. I'm freaking out. Dior.
Cartier, Gucci. Yeah, so if you want to give me a present, from any of these shops, it will be okay.
I want everything from these. These are all the brands
You're
I
lucky
live
because it's
for.
Sunday, yeah.
These are all the brands I live for.
This is a they're all in one area.
In the country, the biggest one is in Barcelona, and you can see the coat of arms just there on the front, Real Madrid with the crown. The Estadio Santiago Bernabéu. So here we just mira, te das la vuelta a la derecha, y allí hay un huequito detrás del verde. Detrás del verde. Now, when you go out to take pictures, be careful, because as you can see, if you go to the middle, there's traffic going through. But if you go to this little square to the right, it would be a little safer. Or small apartment buildings, but with a couple of floors or 3 floors. And this is this neighborhood I was mentioning to you, where the rent per capita is the highest one in the city. This was far away from Madrid in the old days, but with the development of Madrid, it included this new area so far away. We have some Patricia in Spanish, the school on the left, English. The German school is on the corner, also on the left. Yeah, so we see a lot of small schools. Sometimes we have some official buildings, but we also have a lot of embassies. Take a look to the right too. We see a lot of flags around us on the right and on the left for the different embassies that we have around. As you can see, the houses are not that fancy. They don't have much of a garden. They just have a little space around them. But because they are houses, and this is the capital, yeah, the price for this an apartment on one of these houses, or the house itself, would be really very high. I mean, you won't be able to find anything below 1 million euros in this area. You know, good price, isn't it? So you see there's quite a few schools, but not much to do around. There's a little boring as a neighborhood. And so, now we have a couple of little shops in here and a pharmacy in, but if you go through the streets behind, there's nothing, just residential houses. I mean, just houses. Now, the square we're going to cross is dedicated to the Argentinian Republic. It's a very, very nice fountain with dolphins, and that will allow us to continue on Serrano, the street, which is again with the one we saw before, and all of these fancy streets with restaurants, cafeterias, and expensive shops. Now take a look at the houses around us. The embassy for France is this big white building on the left, and my preferred house is this one to the right. It just looks like a medieval house, yes, and it's got even a squirrel up on the top of the roof, a huge one, by the way, and a strange looking decoration, statues and things like that. Yeah, right now it's a school, but it's really a very interesting building. Yeah. So when he died, he gave it to the city, and now it's a museum that shows his collections and the ones of his wife. And so, I mean, it's just an amazing place to visit to see how the millionaires used to live in the old days. And we have got a couple of examples like that one. There are small palaces and beautifully decorated inside with frescoes, with dancing rooms and all that, like if it was a royal palace. I mean, in small size, of course. Yeah. So it's very, very interesting the visit to those little museums.
We need that.
Now, so 1561
Spain is more advanced.
Madrid became the capital, and from then on, of course, as the king moved to here, where when started to build hospitals, palaces, streets, bridges, I mean, things that were needed for a capital. And that was the beginning of the change in Madrid. The beginning, because of the big change, as I said before, was 20th century when it really started to grow. And as you will see now, I mean, these areas we've been crossing are very modern. From the moment we leave these areas, these neighborhoods, Salamanca district, will be going towards the city center, and you will see a little difference in the construction in the streets that are not as wide as these ones, and of course in the buildings that we see around. Again, Serrano has got a lot of designers. Roberto Verino, Simorra.
Of course,
There's a lot of Spanish designers too, but they're not as famous outside of Spain as of course, international ones, as the Italians or the French or the Americans, isn't it? But that's not where the money is. Like Salvatore Ferragamo, Max Mara, we have now Yves Saint Laurent, Prada, Chanel. These blocks of concrete represent the caravels, and this last piece on the right is America. Yes, they have the inscriptions of the names of all the sailors that went with Christopher Columbus to America on that first trip. So they represent the trip of Christopher Columbus to America. The building on the right is the Archaeological Museum. He has a fantastic collection of objects that were found all over the country from different time periods. I mean, Spain had been visited and occupied by different people: Phoenicians, Greeks, Romans, Swedes, Visigoths, Arabs, I mean, you name it, and almost everybody has been here. And so we've got, I mean, the remains of what they left in the country throughout the centuries. Again, if you take a look to the left, you see Versace, you see Carolina Herrera, we've got just past Prada. Those are, I mean, famous international designers, yeah.